that. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for everyone at Icon Coaching.
Simon, congratulations, man. You know what that is?
That's winning.
It's winning, baby. I love it when you're winning. That's fantastic.
I got 2 under contract, so that's like 2.8 million in 2 weeks.
You've got to take control of your production to make sure that you're making more money, your bank account balance is rising, that your net worth is increasing, and that's what we want to see happen.
So then they can save the listing.
Which I'm really, really thankful for, Sean. Thank you.
See everyone coming on board.
Welcome to Icon Coaching's webinar.
Welcome everybody to Icon Coaching's webinar. Again, today we're going to talk through the secret sauce. So if you're looking to build a team, or maybe you've got a team and you're looking how to motivate and inspire your team members to take aggressive and appropriate action to get them to act like owners, you're in the right spot. Now, if you don't believe that compensation is the secret sauce that will motivate people to act like owners, to really up your production, getting them to focus on net profits being as high as possible and expenses being as low as possible, well, then frankly, you're on the wrong webinar. In fact, you should probably just disconnect right now because this webinar is not for you. I believe that the bottom line is how we compensate individuals will ultimately set our trajectory. Our success is determined by others. Now, if you believe your success is only based on your personal production, again, you're on the wrong webinar. See, all of us are smarter than one of us, and together we can accomplish so much more. So building a team, that's what we're talking about today. Perhaps you've already started. Maybe you've started and you're a little bit challenged. You're a little bit frustrated. I'm here to tell you that the struggle is absolutely real. There's no doubt about that. You engage with an agent. Yeah, I kind of like you. You've got a great personality. You seem to be good with people. Why don't you join my team? Align with me. I'm going to provide you with leads. Now, here's maybe a couple of things you should maybe know and go conquer the world. And sadly, the person fails miserably because they're not necessarily equipped to convert leads at the highest level possible. Their knowledge, their skills, their mindset, their habits are not in the right place yet. So I think we're going to talk about a lot of mistakes today as well. Mistakes that agents make who want to build a team. We're going to avoid many of those missteps. We're going to steer clear of any potholes in the road today because you're going to find a profound sense of clarity around how to go about compensating individuals. I'm going to pull up a slide deck. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through a couple of these key concepts. And today, again, it's all about compensation. We could get into organizational structure and all that, which we talked about last week. Yet I do want to just make certain that you guys are just ready, willing, and able to get out there and achieve the success that you desire. Speaking of which, the definition of that word success, it's getting what you want, not what I think you should want, right? It's getting what you want. So again, today we're talking about compensation. We're going to go deep and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you through a compensation model. This is called net profits interest, by the way. Go ahead and write that down. Net profits interest. And getting back to the position, I can share my screen. So NPI, or net profits interest, is a great way to compensate a leader within your team. This would be a compensation model for a director of sales. This would be a perfect partner to have. Now you're going to compensate them as if they are an owner, yet they do not receive any stock equity ownership. They're not a managing member of your LLC. They're not an executive they have no equity or ownership, okay? Yet the compensation will force them to act like owners. So with that said, here we go. We're going to dive into this model. It's called net profits interest. And here we go. I can get my computer to work here, guys. Try it a different way. All right, we're good to go. All right, you should see my screen. Yeah,
Hey,
thank
Sean.
you, Day. Could you see it?
I think you're sharing it to the monitor below. Okay, we're seeing it
All
now.
right, thank you. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, so net profits interest. Essentially, you as the leader, you're going to establish a floor in terms of income for your organization. Now, you're not going to pay any bonus on zero to the floor, meaning, let's say you set your floor at $200,000. I'm satisfied with $200,000. I can pay my bills, and I'm happy there. So I'm willing to share a percentage of net profit above the floor. Okay. Now, the team members are the ones who are going to make that happen. So to compensate them, a percentage of net profit above the floor makes total sense to me. It's going to motivate them to act like an owner because they're being compensated as if they're an owner, right? So we go to this individual and say, okay, anything between 0 and 200,000, I'm not going to pay a bonus. However, every net dollar above 200,000, here's what I'm willing to do. I'm going to share 10% of every net dollar above 200,000 with you directly. So last year I net 200,000. I want to bonus you, yet I want to bonus you based on what you can help me build versus what I've already built. I hope that makes sense. So everything above 200,000, I'm going to share 10%. Now, I'm also going to offer vesting rights after 5 to 7 years. Okay, so let's say it's 5 that you set it at. They're with you for 5 years. They built it from 200,000 net to 1.2 million net after 5 years. They're getting 10% of 200,000. You guys get this, right? Or sorry, 10% of $1 million. So they get a bonus of $100,000. And if they're vested, they're going to continue to get that bonus from you year after year after year, even though they don't work in your organization any longer. Yet they're going to get that bonus provided your company is profitable above the floor. You're going to give them 10% of any net dollar above the floor. However, when they quit, what they do is they put a ceiling on their net profits interest distribution. So if they quit at 1.2 million net, that's where their ceiling is set. They always get 10% of every net dollar above 200,000. I trust you're following me. Yet if you do have questions, type them into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. Now we go to their replacement. First off, they have to hire their replacement. Okay, they're going to identify, they're going to vet, they're going to hire their replacement. We go to the replacement with the same deal. We're going to give you 10% of every net dollar above 1.2 million, which is where their predecessor had left off. So I hope this makes sense. So you as the leader, though, you get the first 200,000. This individual helped you build it to 1.2 million. You're giving 100,000. So you keep the 1.1 million above the floor. You guys with me? They get a bonus of 100,000. Now, who built it, though? See, they built it. This will motivate them to take the actions necessary to grow your organization. Now, this is an annual distribution of a percentage of net profit, and you do this after you've closed the books from the previous calendar year. So the distribution of their percentage of net profit above the floor would occur on or before April 15th of the following year. Now, they must be employed with you at the time of distribution, meaning that if they have a bad week in November and they decide they want to walk away, they're going to quit. Well, they just walked away from all the net profits interest that they built up to that point, right? Or if they get their check on April 15th, chances are they're not going to say, thank you very much, I'm leaving you now, because they've already built up another 3.5 months under their belt for next year's profit share distribution. I hope this makes sense. And because it's based on net operating profit, it forces the team members to keep expenses as low as they possibly can. Every dollar they save, remember, they're getting 10 cents for every dollar they can save. Net profits interest. Again, compensating them as though they are an owner. Now, I want you to hear me on this, you guys. About 4 years ago, my wife and I sold our primary residence. We bought a new home. So closing dates didn't coincide. We had to get into an Airbnb for about 2 weeks. And while this is a beautiful place, it was right on Lake Travis here in Austin, Texas, and it was very expensive. There's some challenges with the property, right? Like the kitchen cabinet, there was a problem with the hinge. It wasn't closing properly. It was kind of crooked. The master bedroom doorknob did not lock and it was kind of loose. It kind of jingled, but bottom line, I was a tenant. Guys, I want you to grasp this. I was a tenant. Do you think I got up early Saturday morning, run over to Home Depot, got a new doorknob, got my screw gun out and fixed that little hinge that was broken on the kitchen cabinet? Of course not. Why? Because I'm a freaking tenant. I don't want to fix it. There's no benefit for me. You get this. Yet if you're an owner, you tend to take pride. Yes? See, if I owned that property, of course, the first thing I'd do Saturday morning is go to Home Depot, get a new doorknob. I'd get my screw gun out. I'd fix the darn hinge. But the bottom line is this. When we compensate people appropriately, then they act appropriately. I look at eXp Realty, by the way, fastest growing brokerage in the history of real estate sales. Their compensation model is the reason for it. I hope you guys get this through Revenue Share 2.0. Guys, it got me to come over to eXp. got me to build a downline. And frankly, it's one of the best things I've ever done. So with that said, if you ever want to talk to me about that, I'd be happy to do that. Yet when we compensate people in the right way, guys, then everything else becomes easier and a lot of things become unnecessary. Now, I'd encourage you to be the guy or the gal who compensates people the most, not the least, yet compensate them based on results rather than hourly or salary. For example, hiring a transaction coordinator. Maybe some of you are just starting into this leverage aspect of your business. There's 4 quadrants of leverage: models, systems, technology, and people. Okay, we're talking about the people part. We're talking about compensation models to motivate and inspire them to act appropriately. Okay, now, when we've got the right models in place, motivates them to act like owners. Okay, so let's get away from net profits interest for a moment. I want to share a different compensation model with you. This works for a director of sales. And we're going to get into the director of sales compensation model as well. Yet before we do that, I want to get into a profit share example. How to maintain or retain the team members. One of the biggest frustrations that you'll ever experience as a team leader, you guys, is hiring your competition, hiring an agent, right? Training them up. They get to a position of proficiency, right? They're making a little bit of money. What they do is they get drunk on the wine of their own success. And what do? They leave. They leave you. And you've trained your competition. You got nobody likes that. You just trained your competition. Seriously, they might take that next listing instead of you. I don't want that. You don't want that. So in an effort to make the retention a heck of a lot easier, I'd encourage you to investigate something that I call profit share for your team members. Now, again, it's a very similar compensation model to net profits interest. So this should, oops, sorry, I'm sharing the wrong screen, guys. My bad. Here we go. All right. Should be showing. And Dave, if it's not showing, please interrupt me. But since I believe that it is, let's just say we set the floor at 200,000. And I'm going to share back to the team members 20% of every net dollar above 200,000. So meaning I get to make 200,000 first before I share in the profits. Now, if we end the year and we only made $199,000, guess what? There is no profit share. Now, what do you set your floor at? I always get this question. It's whatever you think you could sell. See, I suggested to Gary Keller when I went to work at Keller Williams. By the way, nothing bad about Gary Keller or Keller Williams. I loved my time there. I will tell you this, that I negotiated with Gary Keller a net profits interest model at Keller Williams Maps Coaching where I got 12.5% of every net dollar above 5 million. Now, when I went to work there the previous year, they net 700,000. So it's whatever you think you could sell. I had to net Gary Keller $4.3 million a year more before I got bonus dollar number 1. Yet I saw the potential. I saw the vision. I want to help agents increase their production. What a natural, a key hire. I was the perfect person for that role. And we grew that to be the largest training and coaching company real estate's ever seen. Yeah, guys, my first year bonus is like 60 grand. My second year bonus is over 400,000. Guys, when you do this right, you compensate people as if they're an owner. They will do anything for you. I promise you that. So you set the floor at 200,000. You're going to share 20%, let's say, of any net dollar above 200,000 back to the team who helped make that happen. Now, this stands alone. This is separate from what you would do with your director of sales. So the director of sales is not included in profit share distribution because they're getting net profits interest bonus. Yet this would be for all the other team members, whether they're an agent on the team working in a sale capacity or an admin on the team, helping you with logistics and things like that. Here's how we're going to compensate them in a bonus structure, how we're going to retain them and get them to act like owners. Let's say that year, then you net 500,000. Your floor is at 200,000. So we're going to subtract the floor to come up with the base for the profit share distribution, which is 300 grand. We're going to share 20% of 300,000, which is 60,000. That's the pool of money we're going to share back with the team members. Now, here's part of the challenge. Is that maybe you had a team member join you in July. How do you compensate them versus the agent who's been on your team for 4 years? Here's how we do that. We're going to do this through what we call unit measures. So follow me on this, you guys. If they're an employee, W-2, collecting a salary and bonus structure, we're going to compensate them 1 unit measure for every $1,000 they earned. Plus, we're going to give them 5 additional unit measures for every year that they stay with you. This is part of their raise structure, okay? So we're going to take the raises, we're going to put that into this bonus structure such that you're only paying the raise if you achieve what you choose to achieve, okay? So again, follow me on this. This employee earned $50,000, so they get 50 unit measures. However, they've been with you for 3 years. So you give them 5 additional unit measures for every year that they've been with you. So in this example, our employee, our admin, they get 65 unit measures. They earned 50,000. Agent number 1, they provided to the team $82,000 in gross commission income, meaning after splits, what is left to the team? So if it's an agent on a 50-50 split, it's a $10,000 commission. Agent gets 5,000, team gets 5,000. The agent gets credit for unit measures on the 5,000 the team earns, not the total lump sum of the gross commission income. It's whatever the team has extracted from the agent's production. So that agent provided to the team $82,000. So they get 82 unit measures, but that agent's been with you for 2 years. So we're going to up the unit measures to 92. Agent number 2 just joined you this year. However, they provided the team $65,000. So they get 65 unit measures. Agent 3, 20 grand, they get 20 unit measures. Agent 4, 90 grand, they get 90 unit measures. So you guys get the point. Maybe you have 5 employees, do the same thing. Maybe you have 15 agents, do the same thing. What you're after here is the total of unit measures. Don't know what that was. Total unit measures is 332 unit measures. In our example, the amount of money we're going to share is $60,000. So now it's just simple mathematics. We're going to take the $60,000.
Hi everyone. Sorry, there's just a minor technical problems, but Sean will be here very, very soon. Let me check on him. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, they're back. Yep.
I'm back. All right, guys. I see that many of you stayed. I don't know what the heck happened, but my entire system just shut down. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen here, and we'll pick up right where we left off. All right. So what we've done is we came up with the unit measure value simply by doing the math. What we're going to do is divide the sum total of unit measures into the total profit share pool. 332 unit measures into $60,000. That gives us some total unit measure value of $181. Now, it's just simple mathematics, right? We go to employee number 1 who had 65 unit measures. What we're going to do is take the unit measure value, multiply it by the sum total of unit measures to come up with the bonus for that individual that they're going to receive on or before April 15th. And I encourage you, hold out till that date, give them their profit share distribution. Agent 1 gets this, agent 2 gets that. So that's sum total that you agreed that you were going to distribute. Now, what did you earn though? Why would you even want to do this? Okay, you earned the first 200,000. Then you earned the other 240,000 here. So you got 440,000, right? And it cost you 60,000 in profit share to get it. See, this motivates the people to really keep expenses as low as possible, keeping net profit as high as possible. We did this at Keller Williams Maps Coaching, you guys. And I got to tell you, we had individuals who were willing to work overtime without charging overtime fees, willing to work weekends if necessary, because they did not want to have to hire another person, have that salary come out of the net profit distribution of profit share. You understand? So they were willing to take on more work so that we could net more money and they could get a higher profit share distribution. So in addition, I do want to talk a little bit about who we're going to hire and how we're going to pay them. So last week, if you watched the organizational structure and the evolution of team building, like what is that first key hire? What's the second key hire, the third and fourth, and so on and so forth, right? What I do want to do is I want to share with you these compensation models. And let me just pull it up here real quick. When my machine just shut down unexpectedly, it kind of messed things up a little bit for me. Yet I do want to talk about the director of sales compensation model, and I want to show you this firsthand. And here we go. So this will be a director of sales. Now, the director of sales, their job description is really to focus on the 4 quadrants of team building. So I call this the 4 R's. Number 1 is recruiting. That's going to be paramount for a director of sales. Then it's about retention. Then it's revenue or per agent production. So they're going to train the agents up. They're going to coach them, hold them accountable to increase the per agent production. So target 3 is revenue. Target 4 is reproduction. So we want to inspire the team members to see the value in getting another agent to align with your team. See more agents, more production, higher synergy, bigger market dominance. That's what we want to see happen. Brand awareness, everything else happens at the same time. So director of sales, let's talk about splits. Agent split. Okay, so a team lead comes in, it's given to an agent. Agent converts, closes the deal, they get 35% of the deal, or 50% if they choose not to leverage through a showing partner. Now, showing partner would take 15% or 25% if the showing partner actually set the appointment for the agent, okay? So if there's no showing partner involved, the agent gets 50% in a team lead. The company then takes 40% of the deal. Let's say your agent count is 10, number of transactions per agent, 2 transactions. 10 agents, that would be 240 deals in total. Average sales price, let's say it's $350,000. Let's say you're collecting 2.5% per transaction. So your yield per transaction is $8,750. Total GCI in this model would be 2.1 million. Director of sales commission income, because they get a 10% override on the agent's production, would be $210,000. That's commission income. Expenses will keep below 70%. That's our target. So we want 30% profitability. We have company adjusted gross income of 630,000 minus the floor, 430. This gives you your base for net profits, interest distribution. So net income to the company, floor for the DOS, director of sales, that is, gives you your base for net profit, interest distribution, which we talked about a moment ago. And let's say we're going to give them 10%. That would bring it to $34,400 for a bonus that is given to the director of sales on or before April 15th. They do not receive a salary. So total income is $244,400 in this example. And all they had to do was recruit the agents, train them up, hold them accountable, and get an override on their commissions. Net profit to the company be $509,000. So with that said, you guys, here's your director of sales compensation model. I do want to get into the showing partner comp plan. Now, we talked through last week, and if you were here last week, good for you. If you weren't, I want you to watch the replay. I think the mistake a lot of agents make is they hire that agent. Here's a couple of things maybe you should know. Now go conquer the world. And they fail miserably, and they burn through the leads that the agent paid their hard-earned money for. And sadly, they don't get a positive return on investment with that agent. So rather than hiring a buyer agent just right out of the gate, my suggestion to you is hire them in the capacity of a showing partner / ISA to begin with. And I don't want you to keep them stuck in that position until like a 90-day period. I don't want you to ground it in a time frame. I want you to ground it in a result. And the reason for that is because we do not want to promote somebody who doesn't deserve the promotion, who isn't equipped for the promotion. And we don't want to throttle the production of a talented individual. So what if you just said, okay, as soon as you get 3 properties under contract, we're going to promote you from showing partner to buyer or agent on the team. Not even buyer agent, just agent. They can take listings, they can work buyers. They just have to work in this showing partner / ISA capacity until they get 3 contracts. Okay. Once they do that, then you promote them to agent on the team. Now, here's the reason for that. It's on the job training. And you're going to receive the lion's share of the commission because you or your director of sales is doing the lion's share of the work. Okay, so follow me on this. So showing partner compensation model. Now I said 3 contracts before they're promoted to agent on the team. Duration of tenure as a showing partner should be about 30 to 60 days tops. Okay, we just need to get 3 buyers under contract. Now we're going to compensate them differently. We're going to compensate them if it's pre-converted by an agent on the team or you, and you're just going to give them the buyer to run out and show homes. And all they're going to do is show homes, by the way. Then in a case like that, we're going to pay them 15% because it's a pre-converted lead once the deal closes. Okay, so they get 15% of the GCI. If they set the appointment, as I said, they're a showing partner / ISA inside sales associate, which means they're doing telephone work. They're on the phones constantly. When they're not showing homes, and they're not going to show homes for you 10 hours a day. When they're not showing homes, man, they are on the phones. They are focused on conversion. If they convert a lead, they're going to bring it back to the agent on the team or to you. You're going to take that buyer through the initial counseling session. You're going to get a signed buyer agency contract. Then you turn it over to the showing partner. The showing partner is going to set all the showings. They're going to take them, tour them around town. Sidebar comment, do not allow them to leave this current showing appointment without setting their next showing appointment. Keeps them out of the follow-up trap. It helps things, stay within the cracks instead of slipping through, right? So once they identify the property that they want to purchase, they're going to bring them back to you and you're going to write and negotiate the contract. Now, the agent is going to be part and parcel to this. Again, it's on the job training. And since you are doing the lion's share of the heavy lifting, you deserve the lion's share of the commission. If you set the appointment, you're going to hand it to them. You get 85%, they get 15%. If they set the appointment, bring it to you, you do the initial counseling session, get the signed buyer agency contract, they get 25% of that deal. Now, again, they get 3 buyers under contract. They're then promoted to agent on the team. So let's look at what does that look like. So we assume that this showing partner should be able to get 3 under contract that are pre-converted and do 2 deals that are self-converted, okay? Average sales price, let's just say it's $350. Let's say, what did I tie that to? You're getting 2.5%. Total GCI for this agent's production, they got 3 buyers under contract that were pre-converted, 2 that were self-converted. Total GCI would be $43,750. Again, pre-converted, they get 15%. Self-converted, they get 25%. So the pre-converted deals, average, they're going to pull in about $1,300. Self-converted, $2,100. Total buyers under contract, pre-converted, 3. Total buyers self-converted, 2. You can see the numbers there. Duration of tenure, call it 60 days. I would much rather see it done within 45. So total commissions, the showing partner is that. Cap contribution, they'll give a company dollar to whatever brokerage you're associated with. It gives a total commission to the showing partner of $6,650. The team's income, your income, is $35,438. Does not suck. There's no doubt about that. So duration of tenure, again, they should be able to make around $6,600 within about 45 to 60 days on the outside, okay? Pretty easy to sell a new agent who's aligning with your team. Now, forcing them to be a showing partner, let's talk about it. See, the most time-consuming part of the entire buying process is, in fact, showing homes. Yet it's also the part of the process that requires the least amount of talent. Anybody can show houses. So by leveraging off the most time-consuming part of the buying process, what you're doing is you're increasing your net income, you're increasing your net worth, you're getting more deals done. There's no doubt about that. And the agent who's acting as showing partner / ISA is helping you with conversion. They're nurturing leads. Guys, it just makes sense. There's no doubt about that. Then we're going to promote them to agent on the team. And when we do, here's what the compensation model should look like. We're assuming that total transactions per month should be around 2 transactions. Now, these would be team leads. Personal transactions, we're going to compensate them a little bit higher for personally generated leads. Like if their brother, their mom and dad, their aunt and uncle, whatever, their sphere of influence, we're going to compensate them a little bit more. So closings per year, team generated transactions would be 24. We're assuming they can do one personally generated deal per quarter. So 4 per year. Sum total of 28 transactions, average sales price. Again, let's maintain the theme of 350,000 and 2.5%. 87.50 per deal. That would pull in total GCI of 210,000. You got 50% split on team leads, 60% split on personally generated leads first year. Then we're going to go up to 70% year 2, 75% for year 3, and every year thereafter. And again, they don't do that many personally closed transactions, so it's just pennies. It's part of the retention strategy. So per transaction income, 43.75 on team leads, 52.50 on personal deals, year 1, 61.25, year 2, 65.62 year 3. Okay. Total annual commissions to the agent would be 125,750. That's with them closing 28 transactions in total. So again, after splits, 125, you take company dollar, should be around 8,000. Adjusted gross for the agent is 117,000. Total GCI was 244,650. Net to you as a team leader, 118,000 from that agent's production. Now I want you to think, what if I had 20 of those agents? What if I had 30 of those agents? What if I built the models, the systems that would be able to fulfill the needs of all of those agents, where your customer changes from the buyers and sellers you're working with to your agents being your customers. And then you leverage through the agents to provide income to your family. Okay, so that's what we're talking about today, is how to apply leverage to your model. And the compensation is the key to all of it. There's no doubt about that. And while there's many different compensation models we should analyze, I think the ones that I've gone over thus far are the ones that you absolutely need to investigate in this model, in this world. Okay, guys, by doing this, the retention becomes a heck of a lot easier. The recruiting becomes a heck of a lot easier. You're eliminating many barriers to entry, why agents don't want to align with the team. Yet with the right model, you'll get seasoned veterans who want to align with your team. Quite frankly, if I were to jump right back into real estate today, like right now, I'd probably just align with the team so that I didn't have to worry about the infrastructure, getting all the systems in place, just to plug in and do what I do best, man. And that's working with buyers and sellers and getting them to convert, getting those contracts done, man. And then don't worry about all the other stuff. Let them take care of the 80% stuff and you focus on the 20% effort. Yet by being a team leader, it's noble. I want you to hear that. It is noble. Teams are undoubtedly taking massive market share away from solo agents these days. Why? Because it's more efficient. The buyers, sellers, investors in the marketplace today, they recognize the value of working with the team. So since you're on this call, you're thinking about that. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to consider a free coaching session with me. Now, during the session, we're not allowed to talk about what it looks like to coach directly with me. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about your models. We're going to talk about the tweaks to compensation that will make all the difference in the world. So here's what I want you to do. I just want you to drop a quick text to me, and I'm going to put my direct cell phone number into the chat. Whoops, sorry, I accidentally had a typo there. Shon's cell. Okay, 720-341-4876. I want you to drop me a quick text, okay? And just say, Shon, I'd like to have a call with you. Just do that. Easy enough. I'll text back my scheduling link. You self-identify a time that we can get on a call. 30 minutes of your time, no pitch, no close, no talking about what it looks like to coach with me directly. Just 30 minutes of your time to find a profound sense of clarity, you guys. Let's do that together. With clarity, you're going to soar. With the absence of clarity, there's complexity, and complexity is the enemy of clarity. The goal of coaching, by the way, is clarity. When you see, leaders always show up with clarity. They seem to have that clarity that helps people get traction in times of distraction. There's a lot of distraction out there these days, no doubt about that. Having the right compensation models should absolutely get you on the right track. Thank you for typing into the chat that you couldn't see my cell phone number. I apologize for that. I'll post it one more time. Here we go. Should be in the chat, 720-341-48. Oh, and I've got a typo. Holy crap. 720-341-4876. Guys, sorry, I was just going so fast that I accidentally hit the 3 on my 10 key over here. So I just want to help you. I really do. I just want to help you find that clarity, help you find the right balance between compensation, how to motivate your people, how to focus in on retention. See, the compensation aspect of that should make the retention strategy a heck of a lot easier. Guys, I've got example after example of agents who have absolutely crushed their goals. Whatever your goal is for 2026, if you want to achieve that, if you want to exceed that, then you will send me a text. You'll send me a text right now and we'll talk about these models. I'll email you these spreadsheets. I'll do whatever it is that you need. I'll give you, guys, I'm an open book, okay? Let me add value to you. That's what I want to do. So if you'll just text me 720-341-4876, and I see several have come in already. Thank you guys for doing that. I'm going to bounce back to you my scheduling link. Again, no pressure, no commitments, no decisions, just 30 minutes of your time to help you find a profound sense of clarity, how to retain the agents that you attract to align with your team. We can also talk recruiting strategies if you'd like to do that. You guys, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it. And please just drop me that text. We're good to go. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.